Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Abosede Omowie. Here are our top stories. Thank you so much for joining us on the Primetime News today. Now to details of the news. 12 members of the National Working Committee of the APC, led by the National Chairman, John Odigeo Yegun, are presently meeting at the First Lady Conference Room with President Muhammadu Buhari. We'll bring you more details in as subsequent bulletins. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested the Director General of the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission, NBC, Emeka Mba, over an alleged 15 billion naira fraud. Mba was arrested in Abuja and taken to the EFCC's headquarters, where he is currently being grilled. Those familiar with the investigation say the EFCC had been investigating the NBC in the past 1 month. Recall that last week, some detectives stormed the headquarters of the NBC, ransacking computers and files in the finance and account unit. During the operation, some key account staff were taken away. And now the federal government is considering returning the Niger Delta Development Commission to a holistic development agency to be manned by core professionals rather than politicians in order to transform the Niger Delta region. This move is coming barely 4 days after sacking its last board members, Henry Ogiri, Executive Director of Finance, and Twoyo Omasuli, Executive Director of Project of the NDDC. The presidency had earlier sacked the Managing Director of the Commission, Basi Dan Abia. The removal of these NDDC board members gives the newly appointed sole administrator and acting managing director, Ibim Semenitari, opportunity to run the agency alone in the interim. And the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has directed the former military administrator of Kaduna State, Jafaru Issa, to pay the balance of 70 million naira from the 170 million naira he got from the office of the immediate past National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki. Confirming the retrieval of 100 million naira from Jafaru on Monday, Chairman of the EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, said it was a partial refund that informed Jafaru's administrative bill to enable him go and source for the balance. Magu made the disclosure in response to criticism that he quickly released the APC chieftain and close associate of President Buhari while holding on to Olisametu of the opposition PDP, adding that the refund was not a guarantee that the suspect would not be prosecuted for receiving public funds illegally. There has been a furor over the sudden release of Issa from EFCC custody, while other suspects duly granted bail by the court are still being held by the anti-graft agency. This development has seen the presidency distance itself from Issa upon his arrest, making it clear that it would not interfere in his prosecution by the EFCC. And out to Ekiti State, where police authorities in the state have paraded 2 suspected fraudsters and 1 accomplice who were said to be on a mission to defraud the state governor, Ayodele Fayose, over the military panel investigation set up over the 2014 governorship election in the state. The suspects Benedict Idega and Abdulsalam Hassan were arrested at Governor Fayose's hometown in Afao, Ekiti, parading themselves as aides of President Muhammadu Buhari. While items recovered from the suspects include forged Naira Army logo and documents supposedly from the office of the Special Advisor to the President on Ethics and Values, the presidency has denied any of the suspects as staff of the presidency. Rashid now reports.
Parading the suspect at the office of the State Commissioner of Police at the police headquarters in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, the police chief, Etop James, described the suspect as scammers. James stated that the suspect had presented a 57-page document bearing the address and logo of the Nigerian Army to convince the governor that they have information about the report of the military panel that investigated the alleged partisanship of soldiers during the governorship election in 2014.
By the time they finished with the governor, presented the alleged documents and even the alleged ID cards, all fake. They were arrested and brought them to my office that Saturday. I interviewed them. They confessed. They said they were just low-level security personnel. Security men, not personnel. Just private security. Yeah. And they had not had salary for the past 8 months. So they concocted this idea.
The suspects, Abdulsalam Hassan and Benedict Idega, said they forged all the classified documents to gain access to the governor.
The military form we use, we only do that to just beat the security so that we have access to see the governor.
We wanted to kind of whip sentiment as he is an opposition man. So that's why we came to see him.
While there are earlier insinuations on the motive of the suspects and their possible connection to the presidency has denied the suspects, asking the police to discharge its duties.
Fake, they should allow the law to take its course. And I do not even believe that President Buhari operates in that manner. The government doesn't also operate in that manner. If anybody has come here to impersonate anybody, it should be made to pay the penalty.
While the happening may have heightened political tension in the state, the suspects were taken to court for prosecution. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
In other news, the Nigeria Police Force Imo State Command has apprehended the suspected kidnappers and killer of Mrs. Ogo Omedi. The kidnappers who killed their victim and buried her in a bush at Awora village of Ohaji, Egbema local government area of Imo State, said they did so because the woman's relatives did not provide the ransom as agreed. Our Imo State correspondent has the details in this report. That report will be coming to you in our subsequent bulletins. And moving away from there, Transition Monitoring Group TMG has questioned the credibility of the electoral process in Bayelsa State and the subsequent outcome. TMG Chairman Ibrahim Zikirullah made the reservations known at a post-election news conference in Abuja. The group highlighted cases of violence, harassment and ballot box snatching, among other forms of irregularities, as basis for its deduction.
The exercise to produce the next governor of Bayelsa State that began on December 5, 2015 was finally concluded on Sunday, January 10. And the Independent National Electoral Commission has declared sitting Governor Dixon Seraki winner after one of the longest processes in the nation's democratic history. But INEC's decision is one that is considered unacceptable by many, including those that served as independent observers. For TMG, cases of what it described as grave infractions during the polls means the entire exercise is below global elections standard.
The whole processes of the election, right from police setting up of the polling units, accreditation, voting, and result counting was all characterized by violence. And therefore, we cannot verify election that we have declared non-meeting minimum standards that is required clearly for a credible election.
The group expressed concern about the conduct of party officials, especially those for the two leading actors, People's Democratic Party, PDP, and All Progressives Congress, APC. It therefore urged political stakeholders to strive for transparency and accountability, especially in the days ahead.
Most of the results were manipulated. What happened in the Bayelsa is that the two leading political parties were just trying to undo each other. So whatever means that is used wasn't their business.
Governor Seraki emerged victorious with 134,998 votes, while his closest challenger, Timipre Silva, got 86,852 votes at the end of supplementary polls. Now, Nigerians await Ondo and Edo election. Basiaye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
And still on the Bayelsa election, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has described the re-election of the Bayelsa State Governor, Seriake Dixon, as a victory for democracy in the face of unrelenting external forces. Wike, in a congratulatory message signed by his special assistant on electronic media, Simeon Nwakaudu, says that the will of Bayelsa people had prevailed, having resolved to remain in the People's Democratic Party, saying the people of Bayelsa exhibited the true Niger Delta spirit, which abhorred oppression and injustice. He expressed confidence in the ability of the Bayelsa State Governor to consolidate on the democracy dividends which he availed the people of the state during his first term. And the victory of incumbent Governor Seriake Dixon in the just concluded Bayelsa election rerun makes the governor set a record of being the first governor to win a re-election in Bayelsa. On our flagship program called Digest, a panel of analysts x-ray the electoral processes and the performances of incumbent governors to the citizenry. The report.
The announcement of Seriake Dixon as the winner of the Bayelsa election is said to be the best candidate to have emerged winner, which is a good sign for Nigerian democracy. However, the role of INEC in the build-up to the conclusion of the election is questionable, as this analyst explains how INEC contradicts itself, setting precedents to previous elections with similar conditions.
As we speak now, if you look at the pronouncement of the election of Dixon, relative to the pronouncement of what happened in Kogi, INEC has contradicted itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know why INEC has contradicted itself?
I'm coming to that before.
INEC has contradicted itself because in Kogi, INEC declared the election inconclusive because the number of registered voters,
cancelled
votes at the points where votes were cancelled, the total number of registered voters in those polling units cumulatively, according to INEC, was more than the number with which the leading candidate was ahead of his runners-up. Abi? That was the reason why Kogi was declared inconclusive and supplementary elections were held.
Yeah. For these analysts, the performance of Seriake Dixon during his first tenure has not guaranteed him the support of the people.
We saw retinues of party faithfuls. We saw a lot of crowd who rented an imagined crowd that you put together, and at the end of the day, out of all those thousands, close to millions of people that came to your campaign, only 134,000 voted for you. And you say you have always been with the people, and the people, does it make sense? How would development be slow if they have a purposeful leader? The development is slow because those people in government only please the militants, the selected few who claims to be militant fighting for quote and unquote.
Election process in Nigeria is known for violence and improper conduct of party faithful. It is, however, urged that Nigerians should embrace a violence-free election and shun political thuggery so as to have a peaceful election in years to come, which will bring about a more conclusive democracy. Akin Obake, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Now away from Bayelsa and the re-election of Governor Seriake Dickson, the leader of the new Biafra independent movement that metamorphosed from the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra, MASOB, Ralph Wazurike, announced the indefinite postponement of the proposed prayer, fasting and national election to determine the leaders of the impending country. Wazurike told journalists in Owerri that the sudden shift in the date of the prayer session and election, which more than 100 clergymen from the southeast and south-south were expected, was to enable Biafra independent movement, MASOB, make adequate consultation. It was gathered that the leader of the Niger Delta Volunteer Force, Asari Dokubo, and Frederick Fashewon, the founder of the Oodua People's Congress, were expected to be in Owerri for the event. Wazurike, who recently rebranded MASOB to Biafra Independence Movement, BIM, regretted the inconvenience the sudden change in date would cause members of the group and guests. Now we'll take a very quick break. In part 2, after this break, Minister of Works, Power and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says there is need for all stakeholders in the power sector to meet regularly to fashion out ways of improving the sector. Join us again.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trade looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth. Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I said to hell.
On Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has a right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching CoreTV Primetime News. Now let's take a quick reminder of our top stories. Our main stories and other information are on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News, and on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then news. Now moving on, the Minister of Works, Power and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says there is need for all stakeholders in the power sector to meet regularly to fashion out ways of improving the sector. Speaking at the inaugural meeting of stakeholders in the sector in Abuja, the minister emphasized there must be a platform to share major issues and ideas.
Issues in the power sector in Nigeria are major. The inconsistency with which the sector has served Nigerians is indeed alarming, as very often people complain about power outages, sometimes for days on end. Worried about this since coming into office, the Minister of Works, Housing and Power, Babatunde Fashola, got together stakeholders, including those from the generating, transmission and distributing sectors, for a meeting.
What we have also sought to do is to have at least one representative of each major disco, telco or power player in the industry, as far as we can see, who can take decisions on behalf of the organizations. So it will do us very well to avoid sending representations who cannot take decisions to buy the company. The plan is that as a group, as a team, we can take decisions and go and implement them and commit ourselves to those kind of decisions.
Fashola reiterated the need for service delivery and therefore the need to share ideas through a peer review mechanism, and at the end of each meeting, a platform is created to share major ideas that will drive the sector forward.
Our intention is to also do peer review and experience sharing for other discos to see what other discos are doing, where they are doing well and where they are not doing that well, and to learn from one another. We hope that Jengos will, where there are discos around them, merge together to host us. But everybody should pay his way to the meeting, so we are not passing any cost to anybody. But we have decided to host this another one here, just to set the agenda. Everybody should find his way to the meeting if we ultimately decide that this meeting can be useful to us.
The inaugural meeting is to discuss public engagement, collection of payments and debt, generation capacity, and transmission constraints, among others. The meeting will take place second Monday of every month around the country. Jamil Afogwa, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Now, the economic diversification of the Buhari-led administration is centered on reviving key sectors in the economy. The agricultural sector is gaining lots of attention as key stakeholders and SMEs are beginning to enlighten Nigerians on keying into different entrepreneurial opportunities. The January 9 Collective, a group of young entrepreneurs holding its 4th anniversary, was the theme SMEs, the engine room of the economy. The Chairman Planning Committee speaks on the plan of J9C to boost SMEs.
These are the reasons why we've decided to make this a big issue for ourselves this year. We know that a lot of Nigerians don't understand how to do small business and grow it properly. People see agriculture that is for farmers, for illiterates and all that and everything. It's not like that. And this forum is supposed to throw up this issue so people can understand how to even begin. Some people don't even understand how to start. And those are the things I want to bring in. People understand that the agricultural sector is perhaps our next savior, if you ask me, of the economy right now. And we need to pursue it. But people need to understand how to engage. They need to understand how to invest the small resources that they have in ways that will not lose it. And those are the things I want to talk about.
About $70 million have been gotten from the 10 centers that Nigeria secured from the African Center of Excellence out of 22 centers in West Africa for the Nigerian university system. Minister of Education Malam Adamu made this known at a capacity workshop for the enhancement and sustainability of the Nigerian Center of Excellence. He says the ACE will lead the pathway to Nigeria's technological transformation into a productive economy. Bukola Afeni has more, and this report presented from our studios.
The ACE is a regional higher education project for Western and Central Africa with support from World Bank, which will help to provide solutions to Africa's numerous educational challenges. Education Minister Malam Adamu says the African Center will make our universities more competitive and outstanding, while the NUC Executive Secretary believes the center will promote regional specialization among universities in the participating countries.
May I therefore seize this opportunity to call on all to take advantage of this opportunity to turn our university system around, particularly in the areas of research. And in the current circumstances, faced as we are with a multiplicity of development challenges in our sub-region, the ability to explore and exploit new sources of funding to finance the search for excellence must now be accepted as an integral part of the search for excellence itself. You cannot just search for excellence in the laboratory. Raising the funds themselves must be part of the search. And this is very important. The ministry is very, very, very concerned about this. So I hope we will give some emphasis to it.
I therefore urge all centers of excellence, their partners, institutions, and other stakeholders in the ACE project to ensure that this project achieves its objective and to ensure that solid foundations are laid now to sustain the project when the World Bank funding ends. NUC remains committed to this goal. At this juncture, it is important for me to emphasize that we have introduced many projects and programs which are all at different stages of development in the Nigerian university system.
The quest of the present administration is to improve the education sector, according to Minister of Communication and Technology, Adebayo Shitu, as seen in the 2016 budget, stating that the ACE project will help create more jobs, especially in the communication and technology sector.
I enjoin all universities present here to take the challenge to be abreast with global trends in research and development. ICT has become an integral part of research and development. Ensuring the vast amount of knowledge that you can possibly tap into is certainly limitless.
The Executive Secretary of TEDFund promised that the organization will put in additional fund into 2 more universities to support the project.
The Executive Secretary of NUC told me when I came in as ES of TEDFund that now that you are at TEDFund, is it possible that TEDFund can take up the remaining 18 ACE proposals that met requirements but the funds were inadequate? I want to announce here that we've taken them up. But perhaps not all the 18 may make it, finally. And the Board of Trustees of TEDFund last year approved that we take up 12 out of the 18.
The African Center of Excellence is in the right direction and will help the country, as Nigerian education authorities hope that the project will also help the development of research work in the country.
And still on education, Governor Akinwumi Ambode of Lagos State has inaugurated Professor Olanrewaju Fagbowon as the Vice-Chancellor of the Lagos State University, LASU, charging him to rebuild confidence in the institution after its protracted crisis. Ambode at the inauguration expressed optimism about Fagbowon's prowess, adding that the new VC would require the support and cooperation of all stakeholders, particularly staff and students, to ensure a peaceful atmosphere that will promote academic excellence. Governor Ambode equally stressed that his government is passionate about education and committed to raising the standards by providing the necessary infrastructure and delivering outstanding results. Fagbowon in his address promised to restore peace to the institution, foster high-level scholarship, and consolidate on previous gains, while inviting all stakeholders in the LASU project to join hands with him in the task of putting it back on the front row of academic excellence where it rightly belongs. As the economy, poverty, unemployment are some of the challenges bedeviling Nigerians, as the rate of unemployment in the country has been a major concern, having many questions to be answered. However, in line with the federal government plans to diversify the economy, these Nigerians believe that starting small-scale businesses will help in revamping the economic crisis and improving the standard of living in the country. Correspondent Emmanuel Ajayi has more in this report.
The Managing Director of International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, during a 4-day visit to Nigeria, stated that poverty, inequality, and unemployment remain too high in the country. However, with the plan by the federal government to diversify the economy, the onus lies on individuals to tap into small-scale businesses to improve the standard of living.
We should look inwards. Like, for instance, now, most of the dresses that we wear, the foreign made, everything, we should start buying most of Nigerian products to boost our economy.
If you start working from the sector you are, you start building up something. And each and every Nigerian should know that when they start building up something, doing something to help the economy will change, even if the government wants it or not.
Say Nigeria have to work hard to survive your living. You understand me? People that are farming, they are living. You understand me? Whatever you think that will make you to survive yourself, not looking at the government situation, you can start doing it.
For these Nigerians, he believes in dignity of labor while lamenting on corrupt practices of some individuals.
Supposed to gather and help our leaders to see that this country is true. We as people supposed to support them so that we make things to move, make things better, leave all this corruption and other things is happening because corruption is one of the problem in this country. So we people have to take it and manage how to stop it, stop corruption.
It is hoped that Nigerians will tap into business opportunities and create a niche for themselves in the society. Emmanuel Ajayi, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Still on the economy, the Chinese government has expressed the need to sustain diplomatic ties with Nigeria by way of establishing a win-win cooperation to boost economies. Deputy Director General of the Chinese government's Department of West Asian and African Affairs, Ministry of Commerce, Beijing, China, Cao Jiachang, hints that in a short period of time, the Chinese government has successfully achieved an unprecedented economic growth through significant exchange for advantageous trade deals with some African countries, thereby causing an increase in local job opportunities in Nigeria, resulting from the two countries' healthy relationship, especially in the key areas of the country's economies. Cao says huge population and consumer markets are remarkable similarities between the two countries and adds that, by and large, both sides are expected to play a role in ensuring production quality, given the fact that a lot of Nigerian businessmen are comfortable trading in China, especially in the city of Guangzhou, just as there are large numbers of Chinese traders. And the naira on Monday depreciated by 2% against the dollar at the parallel market, shedding 5 naira to exchange at 280 naira to the dollar, as against 275 naira it traded on Saturday. The naira firmed against the dollar on Saturday by 1.1% when it exchanged for 275 naira to the dollar, in contrast to 277 naira it traded on Friday. It, however, closed at 197 to the dollar at the official interbank window. Traders at the foreign exchange market said that in spite of the sale of foreign exchange to about 1,650 operators of Bureau de Change last week, the value of the naira continued to fall. And now, right after this break, we're bringing reports of Spain's Princess Cristina, who's become the first member of the country's royal family to be put on trial for allegedly being an accomplice in an embezzlement scam. Do join us right after this break.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thank you so much for being there. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We now take reports from outside Nigeria. Spain's Princess Cristina has become the first member of the country's royal family to be put on trial for allegedly being an accomplice in an embezzlement scam involving her husband and 16 other defendants who all deny the charges. The trial of 50-year-old Princess Cristina is seen as an embarrassment for the royal family and could see Cristina spend 8 years in jail if found guilty by a 3-member panel of judges. Princess Cristina arrived at the court in Palma, Majorca early Monday with her husband, Inaki Udangarin, who is accused of embezzlement and money laundering. They made no statement to reporters. Court rules prevented Princess Cristina and her husband from sitting together as they sat separately at the back of 3 rows of defendants in a makeshift courtroom at a public administration school in Palma to hear the judges read out the charges. And our talks aimed at kickstarting negotiations for a final peace settlement in Afghanistan have advocated the need for a dialogue between the government and the Taliban. The meeting, which also included the governments of the U.S. and China, sought to revive the process that collapsed last summer after Afghanistan announced the death of the founder and leader of the Taliban, Mullah Muhammad Omar. The Quadrilateral Coordination Group, comprising representatives from Afghanistan, Pakistan, China, and the U.S., is scheduled to meet in Kabul on January the 18th to hold discussions on a roadmap. Meanwhile, a former Taliban senior official said military confrontation is not the solution and that a political solution is needed to end the war in Afghanistan. At least 12 people have been killed and 35 injured in an attack on a shopping center in the Iraqi capital, Baghdad. Gunmen charged into Al Jawahara Mall in Baghdad after a car bomb exploded outside and took some persons hostage. Officials disclosed that about 50 to 75 people were trapped in the mall, adding that security forces have set up a cordon around the mall, which is located in the largely Shia Muslim area of New Baghdad. The Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant ISIL group has, however, claimed responsibility for the attack. And our British singer, songwriter, and producer David Robert Jones, professionally known as David Bowie, has died after an 18-month battle with cancer. Bowie, who died surrounded by his family, excelled at glam rock, art rock, soul, hard rock, dance pop, punk, and electronica during his eclectic 40-plus year career. The last album credited to the music star is Black Star, his 25th album released on January the 8th, which was his birthday. Bowie's 1972 The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and The Spiders from Mars, an album that fostered the notion of rock star as space alien, marked his artistic breakthrough. The late Bowie starred in different movies and became the first rock star to morph into an internet service provider, was the launch in September 1998 of BowieNet. And now to sports.
Our style, and that's what he delivered. Here's that ball storming, Puyol with a flying lead.
Go taking them out in the lead
In sports, Barcelona and Argentina forward Lionel Messi has won the Ballon d'Or award for the world's best player for the 5th time. The 28-year-old beat clubmates Neymar of Brazil and Real Madrid's Portugal forward Cristiano Ronaldo. Either Messi or Ronaldo, who became a 3-time winner last year, have won the past 8 awards. United States midfielder Carly Lloyd, who scored a hat-trick in the World Cup final, won the Women's Award. England coach Mark Sampson was beaten to the Women's Football Coach of the Year award by United States boss Jill Ellis. And finally in sports, head coach of Namibia's Baby Gladiators, Mervyn Mbakera, has threatened that his team would give Nigeria's Flamingos a good fight in their return match in the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers. Mbakera's threat is coming after the Flamingos, Nigeria's national Under-17 women football team, defeated the Baby Gladiators of Namibia 4-0 in a second-round first-leg match. The Baby Gladiators manager says the Nigerian team is not super, admitting that his team lost due to minor mistakes caused by his players and that they will work to prevent the Flamingos from defeating them in the second leg. The match was played at the main bowl of the Abuja National Stadium, while the second leg match will take place in a fortnight in Windhoek. Well, really trust the Flamingos to disappoint, the Namibians. Now, before we go, another look at our top stories. right, with that, we've come to the end of CoreTV Primetime News today. On behalf of the crew, we want to thank you so much for watching. I am Abosedi. Good evening.